Thank you for doing this. Firstly, welcome to the show. Really good to have you here. Personally, massive fan of your music. I've been playing it for a very long time. I don't know if it's over 10 years, but it's close. Especially because just off Switch, I don't think it was. I didn't have time to go and look at what tracks I've got and when I got them of yours. But definitely Switch might be one of the oldest. But that how old's that now? That track?
That's not that old. It's
6-7 years.
No, about 2019. It's not that 3-4 years.
No, there must be this. What was a bigger track that you did? Like around that 6 to 7.
The Jansons project has only been, when did I start that? 2016.
Okay.
So that's when and the first thing was on Steve Lawler's label Viva.
Yeah.
And I did a track called High Point. It was almost a bit breaky, but quite piano driven.
Yeah, yeah.
And that led to Daily Hot 82.
Yeah.
He charted it, and I did a tweet actually, and I said, "Oh, thanks for charting it." And he hit me up if you've got any demos. And then I got signed to Knee Deep, the Killer Key EP, as well back now.
Killer Key, which is so Killer Key we actually used as a promo on on our event, Skate Presents.
Oh, did you?
Because it's just relentless. It's just a strong house piano riff.
Yeah.
And this kick. But the piano doesn't come in for like 2 minutes, right?
No,
Yeah, a lot of energy on that. Yeah.
I might actually bring that back actually. I played it for ages.
Bring that back, man. Bring that back. So you've been in Bali. You did you came to Bali and now you've got New Zealand after here. How has it been for you in this sort of environment, traveling over this way of the world, leaving home? You've just had a little bubs.
Yeah.
Shout out to little Max.
Mega Max.
And leaving the family. How's that been for you?
Yeah, I mean, this has been the first sort of really big trip I've done since I've had the boy.
Yeah.
But I feel blessed that people want to bring me out to these sort of places. And, I feel thankful when I'm getting these opportunities to play in these amazing locations and stuff like that. So I just feel very lucky and I love it. Yeah.
Wicked. There's that gratitude, man.
Yeah.
So you're what I call a quintessential house guy. It's a feeling in your music. There's a lot of emotion, but there's a lot of sense of happiness, but there's a nice counterweight with a bit of a dirty bass sound, and also the drums.
Yeah.
Drums is definitely a big signature. That's where I feel a lot of your attitude and like swag, if that's the word, where, all right, I'm getting your energy, but then there's this melancholy or euphoria that we don't hear too much because it's quite intelligent and you need time to develop that in a track, and you're quite consistent and you back yourself and you stick to that. Signed on some of the biggest labels in our world, Hot Creations, Circus Recordings, Knee Deep.
Yeah.
What are some other ones that you've released on?
432. Classic Music. I've just done a remix for Cutting Heads.
Yeah.
What else?
Who was the artist that you remixed?
Sorley. It's actually a wicked track. The vocal, it's got an original vocal on it. A girl called Goo, I think, which is like really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did it all start for you? With obviously you working up to those biggest labels, and you said Janson project is fairly new in the sense that 2016-ish.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been into music. I was DJing before, and obviously I do engineering as well. So I work with loads of different artists, and I get inspired off them as well. What they're into, and I just want to do it all. I wanted to build my own artist profile in Jansons. Just started making music, and what connects to me, because through the years I've gone through all like sort of funky house, trancey stuff, and I think it sort of comes across my records. Like I said, I like to have some sort of emotion in it, but I'm also thinking this needs to slam in the club as well.
Yeah,
so it's just getting that balance right. And sometimes I'll do like what I call an alternative version and stuff like that, which is a bit more stripped or a bit more for the heads, more clubby, because I know that certain type of DJ might not play that version because it's too heavy on the vocals and stuff like that. So it's quite nice to have that sort of.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Just let's go back to Switch, for example, on Circus. There's a couple of versions.
Yeah.
Did you do that and then send them to Youssef? Or,
yeah. No, I thought it myself.
Or did he ask for it?
I just thought, because that record, like I said, when I did that, I thought, I didn't really know it wasn't really much like that at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, is this people going to like this? I didn't really know. So I thought, I'm just going to do like a more of a dubby sort of clubbier version just to see. And like I said, when we was talking earlier, when I first started playing it out, people weren't dancing, but it wasn't really proper connecting on the dance floor. And then, like I said, over time, kept playing it, and then like you get bigger DJs supporting it, and all of a sudden it just started growing, and it blew me away. I remember it was my WMC, and I was just getting these messages coming through, going, "Oh, he's playing it," and then like on Radio 1, it was like Danny Howard's Friday Fire, then Annie Mac played it, and then Pete played it, and then just going mad, and then like it was like amazing to see, like, the growth of it. And
what's the story behind the track? I mean, amazing vocalist. What's her name?
Nisha, Dope Earth Alien.
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing as well, because she was working with someone brought her in actually,
right?
But she was doing more sort of singing R&B sort of style vocals. I just really liked her, liked her attitude. We stayed in contact, and I was just doing these sort of drum beats. I was thinking, I really want like a sort of percussive, punchy type vocal.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking of her, and I sent her a WhatsApp, and I go, "Do you reckon you could do something like this?" And I was saying, "Let's talk about drums or stuff like that. I want it quite attitudey and percussive." And she just sent me this voice note back. I was like, "This sounds pretty wicked."
Just spitting straight away with some ideas
sort
talking
of thing,
about drum.
And I went home to was having a few drinks with some friends. I just paid me to go, "What do you guys think to this?" And they said, "That's wicked," sort of thing. And then she's from Canada, and she was over, and I go, "Let's just get in and record it." We recorded it super quick. I think she sent me the rough thing so I could work around a bit more.
Yeah.
But the actual recording took like 30 minutes, I think.
Wow.
And then I sent it to Youssef, and he just said, "Oh, this is like wicked." And then that was it. But that the circus thing and 8-bit actually as well. I was in Berlin, speaking to Ben Rao. I don't know if you know Ben Rao.
I don't know Ben. I know who he is.
He was saying he's very like set goals, right targets, stuff like that.
Methodical. Write
things down. I thought I never really did that, and I said, right, this month I want to get on these labels. And it did. So now I do that. I really think about what I want to do this month, or even weekly basis, what I want to achieve, and it really helps you.
Wow. So just another tip there: write goals, write what you want to. So do you write what you when you're writing a release? Do you sort of set goals around?
I might not write it down physically, but I know exactly this is what I'm aiming for, and all that. And also having people like having a team around us, and we talk. I've got a manager saying, right, let's hit up this, and set like targets. Like, because I find, say if I do a remix, for example, I'll get it done. But if I just dilly-dallying about saying, oh, I'm not really just doing stuff, I'll just keep dilly-dallying about, I won't get things finished. But if I know I have to get this done, or I want to get to that, I'll get it done, because it's like a target and a goal for me, and I want to achieve it. If I don't set them, I won't.
So with writing goals, are you sitting down going, do you write goals around the idea that you're trying to achieve with the music, or not even writing down the goals, but thinking of the goals? Or do you think about what labels you're going for?
Yeah, I just think, because I think I really want to be on that label. I really think I fit well there. And I also think, is that going to progress as well with my career as well? Because there's some labels that, I don't know, I think like that's going to really help and benefit you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And not being like, I'm happy, I'm blessed as well that I'm on these labels.
Yeah, there's that gratitude again, brother.
Yeah,
you
need a few. And you feel like, you've got, like, say daily, I speak to him and go, oh, what do you think to this? And it's like an instant, instead of like sending like an email and waiting for responses.
He listens quickly.
Yeah, and it's good. And you get things like that. And you get disheartened if you send emails out and you get nothing back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to get in your comfort zone as well. So you just start maybe think of a label that's a bit out of your comfort zone and try and achieve it. So I think if you just stay too comfortable, you just get to go on the same sort of cycle as well.
Yeah.
But just do things a little bit different, throw a few curveballs in as well.
What does out of your comfort zone look like label-wise at the moment? Got a good pedigree there, man.
Yeah. What labels am I thinking at the moment? Well, so I'm actually buzzing because I'm doing a remix for Rejected as well, which I wanted to get on Joris Vaughn's label for a while.
Yeah.
But I want to get on a couple of the Dutch labels as well.
Yeah.
More because they're doing some really good sort of house stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I'm in talks with some of them. It's getting there slowly, but it's not, like I say, it's not as fast.
When you say you're in talks, are you sending them ideas?
Yeah, send them demos, and they seem to be liking them, but it's a bit more work to do, but we'll get there.
Is your plan to, okay, that's the feedback on that track, I'm going to now work on another track. If I feel it fits, you send a new track.
I feel like, they're saying, these are wicked, and then you go, cool, get some feedback and then maybe do some more, send them. And before you know it, you've got an EP. They're happy, you're happy. Gotcha. And you always the thing is as well, you're always making tracks.
Yeah.
Like we was talking about as well, about the NFT thing.
Yeah.
You can have a bank of music. And if it's not, if it's good, you're going to find a home from it somewhere or whatever platform you're using.
Have you ever thought of releasing your own imprint label? Because you're so prolific at writing, have you ever thought about releasing a label?
100%. That's what,
putting out tracks that you want to put out?
So the hardest thing about that is just trying to find a name for a label. I'm struggling to find a name at the moment. I'm just thinking of a whole artwork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of them are naff, so I need to. None of them have been good yet.
Mate, share your naffers. Come on, mate.
I was going to call it Music Will Save Us at one point, but I thought I like the idea behind it. I just thought it's a bit waffly.
Music Will Save Us.
Yeah.
So that you can play on that theme and try and get another word.
You could do like MW?
Yeah.
SU, just sort of thing. But I've gone off that idea now anyway. But then there's another thing, just calling it MAV as well, just like MAV 001, because that's what everybody knows me as. MAV 002. Keep it really simple, the artwork aspect. But then that sounds all about you. So if you start wanting to sign new talent, that might not work. But you could also have like an offshoot of that to when you want to start taking in demos of other artists. But I think at the moment the label will predominantly be just about me to get going. Yeah. Then look down for demos further down the line.
And do you feel that are you sitting on a bunch of unreleased tracks?
Yeah, I've got quite a few, yeah.
How many are you talking?
Ones that probably about 15 at the moment I'm really happy with, but I've got loads of, the thing is I've got so many projects, sometimes I need to find one of those projects, and your open older projects that you've started to go, this is actually pretty wicked. I need to get this one done. But then it's like, you start another one.
What's your workflow with your projects and your ideas? So when you start a project, do you have a goal where you need to get it to a certain point so then you can pick up and run with it next time you load it up?
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, I like to just get a really good idea, even an arrangement, a rough arrangement done, and start sending it to people as well that you trust as well, and your mates that you value their music sort of
taste,
critique and stuff like that as well. I've got a good manager now as well who he's really switched on music, so we talk to him a lot. He's really good as well, sort of finding, when we talk about what labels we should be hitting, I talk to that about as well, like what would be a good home for that. Yeah. Which helps. It's really good to have a good team manager. We're talking about that as well, your partners as well. Yeah. So my workflow's I haven't really sometimes I might start with a synth sequence from one of my bits of kit or a drum machine groove. I might even build around a sample, stuff like that. Or I might just hear like a bass line in a track that I've loved or found and think, I like that sort of style, and play that in and just build around it.
It's other music that's influencing you and inspiring you to do your music.
Yeah.
It's not just
I'm always listening to new music.
In the studio.
No, yeah.
With all this time.
Yeah.
How often are you writing?
I do like sequences. I love that. There's one called Riffer. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's just like a software one.
Software?
Yeah, it's brilliant. And it's just like a MIDI generator thing.
Riffer.
You can set the keys, how long you want it to be. Yeah. You can lock it to a certain scale if you're not very musical. Yeah. And you can just run it all through your hardware, even soft synths, whatever. And it's just, you get some mad grooves, some mad patterns going. And then then you're off on one.
I have to check that one out, man. That sounds good. Riffer and the soft synth sequencer.
Yeah, I love it, mate. Yeah, these are loads.
Speaking of software, you've got quite a lot of hardware.
Yeah.
Sounds like, one thing listening and playing your music out a lot in Bali and in Australia, but now mainly Bali, is I get to play some of your tracks at different times. So I'll, for one of your EPs, one track is a bit more of an after hours housey track. One's a bit more peak time. Yeah. But you can push it a little bit earlier than just before peak time. Yeah, yeah. Is that the intention there? To give people a little bit of variety or settings, or?
Do you know what it is? It's like, I'm very much like feeling, and if I'm like in that, if I'm connecting with that idea, then I'll roll with it. And there's no sort of structure. I need to make that style track. This is how it pans out. Yeah. You might, 9 times out of 10, I'll probably change the drum sounds or the drum grooves 4 or 5 times, and
really,
and I track. Yeah, I keep changing it, thinking,
And is the drum groove
if it's too
evolving
soft or
because
too hard,
of a new idea you've added?
You might add a new part or new element, and thinking, right, this is
So it's
gone
evolving.
up a notch, do you know what I mean? Or it's like, this could be a bit more like smooth or melodic or...
Yeah, sometimes I sit down going, I'm going to write the biggest peak time belter, and I come away with a deep house track. And vice versa.
Exactly. Well, do you know what's mad as well? I set up this mega template in Logic. It was like, had everything set out, like all the soft synths, all the high, all your
drums,
all the drums. I've never used it.
Yeah.
Because I just like to start
fresh
from a fresh page every time. I don't know, It's taken about a few days to do. It's super, like, I've even got like the graphics, like they're 303, so that's the 303 chain or...
And was the idea of that to try to make your sketching more efficient
and quick, but it didn't work like that. I know anyway, all I've got on my thing, if I open, I've got notes and I know everything's patched in. It's not that, and you sort of start, you use like your favorite synths. So I know that's like patch 27, whatever, and I know it's probably plugged in anyway. So if you just a case of loading an external instrument and it's find the synth and the input and it's ready to go. So
Do you, when you're doing a take and you're recording from your outboard gear, do you do you kind of quantize it? Do you sort of let it sit? Do you keep it a little bit imperfect? Do you do
once again it
takes,
depends. I do loads. Let it run for ages. Sometimes I'll because I use Logic, but it's like Flex. It's similar to like Ableton. Stretching. Warping. That's it. And I've got like the MPC groove. Sometimes I'll just like do that, and sometimes it'll just do a mad groove or a mad glitch or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll leave it. Like normally I'll leave, if it's from a synth, I'll just leave it. Sometimes you get a bit of latency, so you drag it on a bit, but I'll leave it because you want that sort of live element. And I'm a big fan of recording all the
automation,
like, filter sweeps or messing with envelopes, LFOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I find, when you said earlier, when you sketch a track, an idea, even if it's just drums, bass line, and maybe a bit more of it, maybe a bit of a sample in there.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to approach that once you've got the arrangement with a bit of live kit. And you know where you're going to play with the filters and stuff, and then it's in.
Yeah.
That's really changed.
Track delays are really good as well.
Track delays.
Like move everything off like a little bit, like so no transients are hitting at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you just got to think, if all the transits hit at the same time, it's just like they're going to be fighting with each other.
Yeah.
So if you've got a kick and a bass that's a little bit off,
they've
got their own space, and it's going to get more, it's going to sound more punchy, it's going to sound cleaner, and you're going to get a lot less phasing issues. That's what I find. Obviously EQing as well, but
that's a good
and
point.
you get really good grooves as well, because but some things like, because when I make a bit more of electro-y sort of old school stuff, you kind of want it to sound a bit more machine and rigid. But if you're making more groovy house, you don't want it to be dead on, do you? When you get those grooves.
Yeah. And going back to Switch, and we'll move on to, because that started off a bit of a progression for you with releases and working with this artist.
Yeah.
But this track's one that you're proud of?
What, Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it, because like I said, it's all original. There's no samples in it. It's all original recordings, and it's probably the first big, I've worked more vocals since, but the first big, because recording vocals is like, it's different challenge in production.
Yeah.
First of all, you need a really good vocalist. They need to do really good recording, take, performance. Then there's a lot of work with producing it, if you're thinking, a lot of production to it. So processing and, getting it all sounding good, sitting in a mix. So I was really proud of that and how it sort of translated.
It feels very, like, for me, listening about that story, it's like what we all want as artists is that kind of authenticity. I would call it very authentic because it's your first sort of time working with this artist. You guys clicked, right? She sent back something a sketch, and you're like, wow, on the phone.
Yeah.
And in the studio, and it sounds like it's a lot of fun. And I think that's part of success is
she's class.
yourself.
Yeah, she's wicked. Yeah.
And how is the track? Because you made the track, so from when the idea was conceived to how it's bubbling. Is this track still getting played? Is it still? What's the evolution? Because tracks have, when I listen to a track for the first time, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's new.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter when the release date is, and that's one of the beautiful things about our industry.
Yeah,
everyone has a different experience to a track at a given point in time, and if a lot of your stuff, I think you mentioned, Yusef said this is quite a timeless piece, and I have to agree with him because of the sounds. the drum machines and all that kind of stuff that you're using are just as timeless as what a band would use with the piano, guitar, bass, you know? So there's a real consistency with your sound. How has the progression been from the behind the scenes, seeing are there different areas in the world that start jumping on that track a bit more? Does it does the track move around the world like that, or?
I mean, it's sort of probably because I'm saying the funny thing is I've done one with her called Medicine.
Yeah.
Which this is a funny one.
Is this the follow up?
Yeah, but this was due to come out. We had a real big promo plan, hype thing for it, and then obviously COVID came.
Yeah.
So it was a club track as well, and then because it's called Medicine and it's got some lyrics of medicine in it, the label was saying, we better not release it because it might offend people because of the whole pandemic. So it kept getting pushed back, kept getting pushed back, and then it they released it in the pandemic, it sort of calmed down a bit, but no clubs were open, so it did all right still, but it didn't do what we expected it to do. But what we talked about earlier is for some reason, now because things are open again, that's had more support. Like BB, Jamie Jones have been playing it in Amnesia and DC10 and Ibiza. And we were saying about TikTok, a lot of people are putting it on their TikTok videos that have got, I mean, it's had, like I said, had 2.5 million views in the last week.
Wow. So just Medicine on TikTok had 2.
And the track's like not new. It came out like a couple of years ago. But now it's only starting to gain traction. And then it's like, and because of that TikTok thing, like saying you can see on my Spotify graphs going boom like that.
Yeah.
And YouTube plays, Apple, it's all done like that. So it's interesting, like I said, there's a big wide world out there, and sometimes a new market or new thing just cottons onto it and it brings it to life again.
Well,
it's amazing to see. It's like, man.
Yeah, how does that feel to see something that you've probably gone, all right, this is probably done its dash. I still like the track, right? I still love it. I still play it.
Yeah.
But, I have no expectation of what it's going to achieve because I'm just so happy about it.
Yeah.
But then to see this kind of resurgence.
It's mad.
Right? How does that feel?
Mental, because I haven't really played, because when I started DJing again, I wasn't really playing it because it's like, to me it's old because I've made it.
Yeah, that's what
I mean. And then I played in Leeds the other week. Please play Medicine, we'll love it. I thought, I'll play it because they've asked, and then I start seeing all these big DJs playing it, and then this TikTok thing, it's like crazy really that it's happened. It's like, I suppose when you've made an original piece and that can happen. Yeah. And it takes a few big tastemakers or something just to ignite it again, and it can give it a whole new lease of life.
It's interesting what you said there, like it's old to you, but it's new to others.
The funny thing is, I never really play my hits. Most DJs probably don't. Once your record's released, you don't really play it in your sets.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get asked for it, you will, because, but you're always on the hunt for new music, or you've just done new records that you want to sort of road test, or you're proud of these ones now. That one's done. You're on to the next sort of phase of your music.
Do you think that is because as you keep writing music, you're getting more refined or better? If that's
I'm always. It took me a while to be to really be confident to play my music out, and my sets. But now, I might be a bit arrogant, but I'm playing probably over 50% is my music when I play out now because I'm really confident in it, and I like to see if it's doing well, how it connects on the dance floor, and it's just, because that's another thing as well. It's all right making music in the studio, but you need to see if that record's working with like the people in the club and stuff like that.
I don't think it's arrogant. I think because you're getting booked because of these tracks.
Yeah.
Right. So this is why you're getting booked. So it's definitely not feeling. But the true artist that you are, I get it. I've go through the same kind of feelings when it comes to playing out your own music.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're at a much different stage and have a much higher achievement, and I commend you for that. And it's really inspiring for me personally to hear the hard work you put in. How much time are you spending a week on balancing all this machine of yours around from the production, the social media, the DJing? How do you how would you break those into percentages of time?
Right. To be honest, I get really frustrated that I don't get enough time in the studio.
So you would want to produce more if you could?
If I could have 100% studio time, I'd be as happy as Larry.
Do you reckon there's any producer out there that would disagree with that? Because I'm the same.
Nah, most people like studio all the time. But you're a touring, like you said, your socials or other things, family, stuff like that. So it's really important to get the balance. I mean, we talk about socials; they're so important, and they are time consuming. Like, you know, we're saying when I do those studio jams, which I have to do, they're really good. Like,
they're great.
I get good engagement, and, you know, opens up doors, you know, people see them and it spreads more. But yeah, they take sometimes. I'll wake up and go, right, I might go up Sunday morning and go, right, I'm going to make one of those videos. So I'll get up really early before, like, say we'll go out for a nice day with the partner and the boy. And I say, right, I'm going to get up early, spend the morning doing that. But at the same time, when I've done that, I feel really like happy and like I've achieved something today. Then I can enjoy the rest of the day. But yeah, you've really got to structure your days well. But I don't get enough studio time. Basically, that's the end of it. Wish I had more.
And when do you have like, we're going to come back to that actually, because I want to unpack that a bit more. It's really interesting what you said, you know, about I feel happy after I've had a jam.
Yeah.
You know, like you're energized.
Yeah.
My partner, you know, one of the things I haven't been able to do lately is spend much time in the studio because I'm full-time on this project. And obviously with little bubs on the way too, you know, it's life-changing as a father. Just kind of supporting role and learning how to do that, right? But she knows how much I feel alive after being in the studio and that happiness. And then that makes you more vibey to be around because your wife's stoked because you've got, you know. And how does she support you with your production and do you share tracks or ideas with her and see what she thinks?
Hey, Louise.
Yeah, Louise.
She's the one I'm really scared to show to because she always says, that's not that good sort of thing. Or she's my biggest critic.
Do you sometimes walk away ever going, she's right, I could do better, or, you know?
Sometimes I do, yeah. But you know what as well? We all have bad days in the studio. When I get really like, I shouldn't, but I really beat myself up. If I've had like an 8-hour stint and nothing's happened, which it does. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But she's the one that says, I just ring her up, I've had a really rubbish day sort of thing. And she'll just give me some words of encouragement. And what I normally find at that bad 8 hours, there is something good that's happened in those 8 hours. You just don't realise it till you go back the next day or the day after. And you may open up a project going, actually, yeah. But yeah.
Have you got any tracks that were conceived from a bad 8 hour day that have evolved into something else?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you think it's been bad, but it actually hasn't because you're still doing stuff. That's what I'm saying. If you're, for any producer or upcoming producer, just any time you can get, even if it's not half an hour or an hour and you literally just making a naff drum beat or bass on it's not that great, you're still doing something.
It's like match fitness, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to progress into something. It's better than saying, oh, you've done nothing, but you feel good, but you can build bags, you've done something rubbish, but you've still done something. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Are you familiar with an author called Stephen Pressfield who has a book called The War of Art?
Yeah,
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's got this concept where amateurs and professionals, I think it's this book.
I think I've actually read that. I think someone gave it, yeah. It's actually good. Yeah, it is.
Professionals turn up whether they're inspired or not.
Is that about procrastination and stuff like that?
About procrastination and also, you know, don't wait on inspiration, just do the work.
Exactly,
you know, and the flow comes.
That's the worst thing, just wait things, like you just got to do it. And,
So back to, I would personally love for you to be able to spend more time in the studio because I know what that's going to lead to. That's going to lead to more releases, more music that I get to play and appreciate and enjoy that then the people that are dancing get to. So the world becomes, our little world with electronic music becomes a better place if you can make more music, right? So that's got to be our mutual goal here. How do you describe, back to that first question of balance, do you have a certain day for social media? How much time do you reckon of that week? Let's just break it down. How much time of a week are you spending on sort of the social media duties versus and we don't have to talk about the personal life, more just in the professional side, how much are you spending on social media, I guess gigging as well, or you know, listening to music or digging for tracks to play as well. That's another thing we should talk about. And then the production side and the finishing side.
I mean, so I don't spend that. The biggest thing on my social media thing is doing the studio jams, the reels. Apart from that, you know, I'll go out and try and do some photos and stuff like that. Or if I've got a release coming out, we'll post about that. Or if it's what gigs you got this weekend. But I don't post that much. Like on Insta, I might do like 2, 3 posts a week, sometimes not even that.
How much time are you spending to do that?
Not much. Like I said, the only big thing is like making the video content.
How long are they sort of taking and setting about?
Sometimes it can take a couple of hours. Sometimes it could take a morning. You know?
So you can almost write
depends
a track.
Depends how. Yeah, well, yeah. So sometimes it is literally just I'm going to make a jam, but sometimes it is say like a remix or a project that's out. So I've got the project, but I'm just doing like a sort of jam and breakdown of it, like the elements into it and what bits are played in and what bits are recorded and just what stuff was used. So them ones are a bit easier, but sometimes you do a jam going, it's actually ain't that good. So go back and do another one sort of thing.
You mean it's not that good, I'm not going to post it?
Yeah. No, I won't record it though. I'll make sure the jam's good before I like start
it must
editing
it must be tough. It's a totally different concept to recreate or deconstruct one of your jams. It's already a release versus, just jamming. Do you find that when you're recording the jam, are you recording this in kind of like sitting the camera how we are now on a tripod and you're just sort of jamming, forgetting about it?
The reason how I want to do it is I want to make it look fun and show it's approachable and easy. But you want to
inspire.
It's engaging, and I know that's when the thing is on social as well is it's huge and you need to find out what's your strength is. That's one of my strengths. I'm not like a big, vibrant, bouncy, like confident character on the camera. I'm never going to be that. So that's my sort of strength. So I've found out my sort of unique thing that people sort of engage with. There's some people that are really good at certain things. I'm not good at that side of it, but I'm good at that side of it.
Well, I think you're letting your production do the talking.
Yeah.
This is how much fun I'm having. I want to. So do you feel that? Let's talk. Mate, you're full of gems. You said you don't feel like you're that sort of outgoing or super confident guy in terms of talking. Yeah. Right. Do you find that social media sort of gives those people a bit of an advantage?
Yeah, definitely. Because and people buy into the person as well. I do need to work on that, but bring my character more across more. And nothing I need to work on more.
That's why we're doing this podcast, brother.
I need to show people I'm more of a DJ as well because people regard me more as a producer. And we were talking earlier about when you're doing gigs. I don't have, like, say for example, I should have someone with me to document the trip. That's just loads of killer content, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and that's how it is now. I need to start thinking about doing that when I do shows. To bring it, maybe more local when it's more in Europe is a bit easier, but it's a bit harder to bring someone out to Bali and New Zealand and
it is.
Yeah.
How do you find the whole social media thing? First, do you remember when sort of was MySpace and then it was like Facebook, Instagram?
It's crazy.
What's your take on all of that?
I think it's a funny. It's the only thing that gives me knocks my confidence personally. I think it probably does to most people.
Absolutely.
They're lying if they say they don't. But I do think it's a fantastic tool if you use it to how it's meant to be used, and it's connected me with loads of people. It's got me record signed. It's opened up my fan base. It's got to show my talents off and, connect with people. And I think it's great, but it's knowing when you don't want it to consume you. And if it's affecting you mentally and stuff like that, just take a break from it as well. You don't need to be on it. Just at the end of the day, you need to make, if you're an artist, number one thing is making music, but use that platform to get your music out there, use it in the right way. Don't let it take over your life. Don't think that's the number one thing. That's like a tool. That's like a tool to get your music out there.
Do you think that I love that if you're an artist, the number one thing is to make your music. Amen to that, brother.
Yeah.
Right. And I love the what you said about do you think that don't ever let the promotion side make you think, don't ever value the promotion side to be more important than the making side. Is that what you're trying to say?
It is like marketing. You need to, if you could spend all that time making that record, but you need to market it right because you want everyone to hear it. That's the end of the game, didn't you? You want it to go global. You want people all around the world to hear what you've created and what you're proud of.
Yeah, you want it to get
marketing is super important.
You want the track to get to the most amount of people that would appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I mean with socials. They're a great tool if you use them right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's almost like we should be having social media work for us instead of working for it. And it's knowing when is it too much? When are you kind of... Have you found times that you've drifted off a bit and found you're probably doing a bit too much on the social, not enough on the music production, or is it easy for you not to do?
No, it's funny. You feel guilty. It's like I haven't posted anything this week. It's just like, oh, and you feel like that, and you do feel, fully. But you feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you have to, because unfortunately you have to show that you're active and because if you wanted to be booked by promoters and you don't know, very busy, you're not doing anything, why should they book you, really?
But
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you are extremely busy writing lots of tracks.
Yeah.
You're just not consciously thinking to record every minute of it, because you probably. How do you find? What kind of feedback do you get from the jams, the Instagram ones that you're doing?
Oh, that's just lovely, mate. It makes you feel good because you get people comment you, go, these are really, I love your videos, they're really inspiring. I'm always like, I like to help, I always reply back saying thank you. And if they ask for little tips or, oh, what's that synth like? Or what's that plugin like? I say, yeah, it's wicked and stuff
awesome,
like that.
Man.
Yeah.
I love them. I'm a big admirer of your setup. It's very easy to see what you've got. It's not too much, it's not too little, I think, because that's the other thing. You can have too much gear.
And do you know what? It's really funny. I actually redone all my studio this year because it was starting to annoy me a little bit because it's getting so cluttered and it was getting scruffy. The wiring was getting really bad. It took me like over a week to do, but I said, this start of the year, I'm going to just totally pull it all apart, rewire it all and sort of set it out. And it's so much nicer now. It feels like double the size. And
has that helped your productivity?
Nicer to work in. I've had like a rubbish chair. I'm going to get like a nice fancy chair.
Yeah.
So I'm in there sitting in like 8, 10, sometimes 16 hours a day thinking, I need to be in a nice chair, and just have a think what I'm using the most. It's all set around me and it's just massively helps. Yeah. It actually sounds better as well now because I've got speakers on like sort of stand. So it's not like dead on like wood. It's like the sonics sound a lot tighter and punchier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a new place again. I've made it. I've got a nice rug in there now. It feels a bit more like a home instead of just like going to an intense work environment, which is kind of what I want. I want it to be comfortable and
Have you sort of found your foundation with your instruments, your go-tos for different sounds?
Yeah. But then like you just go through like Louise got me the one. I always wanted a SH101.
Yeah,
and she got me that, and I was hammering it.
Did you get the boutique or the original?
I've got the real one. Yeah.
And
I was using that on everything. And then I sort of probably overused. Actually, you can't overuse a 101, but I did use it a lot.
Yeah.
But then I'm going back to that now recently. So it's always there. It's always near me. If you're looking at it, it's always there. And the SCO2 he was talking about, I use that for pretty much all my bass lines at the moment.
Yeah.
And the OB6, all the poly sort of stuff.
Is that the Dave Smith Oberheim?
Oh, mate, it's mega. Yeah. Like big lush stabs and pads and stuff. Yeah. But, I do use soft sims as well because there's some awesome ones out there.
Please share the soft synths because I feel that a lot of people on soft synths might feel a bit inadequate sometimes because of the gear, but they both have the pros and cons.
No. I mean, I use the Repro one, which is mega.
Yeah.
Native Instruments Monarch.
Yeah.
I like Massive as well for weird because sometimes you can't get those cut-in futuristic sounds out of analog stuff. So it's not, things like Massive and the FM stuff is wicked for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I love Omnisphere as well.
Oh, how good's Omnisphere?
Just does everything, doesn't it?
Does everything.
Yeah.
It's absolute. It really does. I mean, I got it, Omnisphere 2. Is that the one?
Yeah.
I really got into that one because it had this granular synth thing, which I've never used.
I
thought I was going to do these crazy textures and stuff, but I actually use it for a whole lot of other stuff. More my pads and weird sounds because it's got instruments that you didn't even know were possible.
There's just like bass sound in it. It's like a live bass sound. When I'm doing more sort of filter house, a bit more disco sort of size, that's just perfect for that.
Yeah.
That's what the bass line's done with that.
Oh, there you go.
And granular stuff I was talking about is output. Stuff like that. Yes. Oh, mate, I love that thing. Like the track I did, Stutter, that came out on Circus.
Yeah.
That's all done. All the vocals are running through output.
And you've done
those mad, granular sort of slowed downy stutter effects.
Did you post that up, the output? After you signed it to yourself, was there a behind the scenes video to that?
I've done like a reel with that.
Yeah.
And I said, because the singer on that, she's out in Nashville.
Yeah.
She's wicked as well. And I said, look, if you wouldn't mind, can you just like say here, just record like a video of you singing the lyrics?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do a jam and chop in when you start singing.
Yeah.
And the thing, it worked amazingly. She had like loads of she did it really well, loads of swagger, and it just like worked really well.
Yeah, and then she sent you the video back, and then
I put it, did the jam and sort of chopped when her vocal comes in, so chopped bits of the vocals, and just that's another thing, it's just more engaging because you've got like a person singing in it, and it just
wicked. How much time are you spending looking for new singers versus?
I'm always open to new singers.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
What's a piece of advice that you could give, or some information you give to a singer that, say, would be really interested in working and reaching out to you, might not have the confidence, or, well, what's the best way?
Just send me a message, like, so I'll always open my messages, just send me it and I'll listen. And if I think someone's there, I'll just like, yeah.
You mentioned
I'm not bothered if they're like a nobody or they're just starting out or they're massive. If I think like they've got something and I think we can work together, I'll always give it a shot, definitely.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. That open-mindedness. That's a very healthy thing for an artist at your level to have.
We've all got to start somewhere, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, and that's really important because that encourages people. And how many great tracks were never written?
Yeah,
right. How many top lines were never sung that could have been?
Yeah.
And this is a really sacred process, making music, and it's a special power that needs to be respected and cultivated.
Yeah,
that we learn, because we're just really learning more about ourselves.
Yeah,
as we go through this, So, or any singers out there, if you love Jansons music,
hit me up.
Hit him up. Yeah, and you mentioned too that you really like to work with singers where you guys can jam in the studio.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're quite good as well with working on through the phone. I think you said with the singer in Nashville.
Yeah, but it'd be
you can
like
still do remote. Pretty cool.
Yeah, but I always like to be like Liz Cass as well is really good.
Okay,
did a track called Less Ordinary, which is sort of still doing bits now. Like Seth Chocolate just played it actually last week or something, and that's still getting played quite a lot actually. And that's a really weird vocal. But she come in, she's amazing anyway. But I said, can you just sing it a bit wrong, almost like a bit off key, like make it a bit uneasy, but a bit sort of sleazy? And she like. Have you heard that track?
No, I don't think.
Check it out.
I'm not sure. What's it released on?
Classic Music.
Classic Music. When did that come out?
That come out literally just before the pandemic as well. Okay. So that kind of got lost because I did 2 versions of that as well, called the Deep Mix.
Yeah.
And like Chris Dussy was hammering it.
Yeah.
And they was all due to do like a sort of release of that.
Yeah.
But they stopped releasing it because of the pandemic. So it's not worth it. It's too much of a club track.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do anything, and then it sort of. I think it got released on a Defected or something, VA eventually.
Yeah.
But that's a shame. But it's still people still play that now.
Yeah.
It's like, and like people know the vocal as well. It's quite a catchy little, I want to live a life less ordinary. It goes like that.
Yeah.
Hear it and let me know what you think.
Yeah, I will. I've got to check.
It's quite sort of acidy, sort of quirky.
Speaking of acidy, you've got some real punchy, acidy bass lines. I think it was in your Hot Creations release, was it? Or what was when was your latest use of sort of an acidy bass line?
A stutter, yeah.
Stutter, okay.
Yeah. That was SEO2, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I'm going a bit like that at the moment, sort of quite electro-y sort of bass line sort of stuff.
Any tips to give to any producers out there that want to sort of cultivate a sound like yours?
Don't make things too polished and clean. Like use a lot of dirt, saturation, bit crushing.
Mm-hmm.
So I love all that sort of stuff, and just get in a little like I said, be saying like the boutique stuff. Just get one little bit of gear, like a good mono synth.
Yeah,
quite easy to use, and then master that. Because the thing is about the 101 as well. There's no presets. You can't save nothing. I like that.
Yeah,
because you've got to make the sound every time.
Yeah.
I'm the same. You go in a big fancy plugin, you go through the presets, drenched in reverb, delays, doing all these fancy sounds that are just unusable sounds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think getting those little bits of gear, which are really affordable now, and it creates your little sound as well. So you start to really understand that bit of equipment, but and it's like you've invested a bit of money into it. So you're really going to work at it instead of just buying, every synth stuff, probably people cracking it, whatever as well, and I think it's just you go preset diving. It's just like it doesn't. You're not going to learn anything really. I don't think
it's a bit challenging sometimes when people buy soft synth packs because they're getting so much gear, but they don't know what it's capable of.
Yeah, I mean the Arturia stuff. To be fair, the Arturia stuff is amazing. I do use some of their stuff as well, but it's just like I've got more experience now, and I know what. So I know in my head, this is what sort of sounding on and what's the best tool to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose when you're starting it out, you just sort of a bit in awe of everything because it is so like impressive, isn't it? So much stuff out there now.
Yeah.
And you just kind of want it all. I was a bit like that as well. But, and that's, I suppose the good thing about Arturia, you've got that analog lab thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so say if you need a string or you want an analog bass or a digital bass, you kind of got the menu thing. So
you've got it at your disposal.
You can find it and you can sort of say, okay, and it tells you what synth's using it. Then you can start understanding, okay, so that synth's really good for those sort of types of sounds. And that's a good thing for that as well if you're sort of starting out.
Wicked, man. How did the Hot Creations signing come about? Huge.
What's that one with James Solis?
With James Solis. Yeah. Huge achievement, that one.
That was... I did a remix today. I did a remix of Ben Sterling.
Yeah.
Come out. And then because James released with him already. And when did we do it? It was over COVID. That's one good thing about COVID, because I've done like 10 tracks with Scream as well.
Oh, wow.
And one's coming out at Circle Loco next month.
Yeah.
Together. And we've got another one, hopefully, a big one coming out.
You guys are sitting on 10.
Yeah, which is amazing. That wouldn't have come out because of COVID, because we all had time in the studio. And we were just chatting. I was saying, just come to the studio. Let's just write some music. Stuff like that. And I think that's what I did with James for the Hot Creations. And we did it and we sent him to Jamie, literally, because I heard he's quite infamous for taking a long time to get to the sign, but he sort of said, he likes these and got it signed pretty quick.
Wow.
Which we were buzzing about.
What was the turnaround time between sending it to Jamie?
I can't remember. We were really surprised because I think it's like a couple of months.
Wow.
Like we signed it, he goes, label manager, and then saying, we can do this release in May. I think I'm out in May, doesn't it? And this was like the start of the year. So we did that. So let's get it out. So it was perfect for us for our release schedule as well.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes. So was that set on a goal list or anything like that, or was maybe?
It was one of the. We both said, let's just try. I think these would be good for Hot Creations.
Yeah.
And we sent it. And I mean, it does help when you have, like I said, when you've got a relationship already. Just because they're going to pick up on it, because it's super hard when you're an up-and-coming producer and you haven't got those links yet. You could probably you might be making music better than most, or but it's just having that link with someone, and that's why going to it's sort of working out where these DJs are playing.
Yeah,
you always find a way to get in like backstage or something like that, and just try and put your face about a bit.
Yeah,
I think that's important as well.
Yeah,
in the early stages especially.
Did you do a bit of that?
You have to. Yeah, you know.
What would you try to say?
It's just like when you meet someone face to face. It's more of a connection, isn't it? Just an email. You just imagine how many emails these guys are getting.
Yeah.
You know.
How did you link up with Scream?
That was because I played in BPM in Portugal.
Yeah.
It was Rich, because I'm good. 432 Richy Ahmed's party.
Yeah.
Because we did the LoveHrtz project as well. And it was me, him, and Scream. We were just talking, and he knew my music. And I was saying, let's just get in the studio at some point. He goes, yeah, man, sort of thing. That was it. And obviously, actually, no, I did like one of those reels, and he messaged me, sick, mate, sort of things. And we just chatted, and we said, let's get in the studio. This is over the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then we come down, mate. He's awesome. Right? And we just really clicked in the studio. He's like really good. He's really good melodically as well.
Mm-hmm.
We just write about these tracks.
So did you guys talk, or did you guys start with the jam with all your kit?
We was spending sort of 3 really rough sketches a day. We was there for like 10 till like 1 in the morning.
So sometimes. You guys were proper working. You're turning up with an intention and let's put in the work.
That's how he likes to work. He likes to be really quick to see how it goes and move to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then come back the next day and like see if it's worth sort of continuing working and finishing it off.
So you were almost writing multiple tracks at once. Is that what you mean? So
no,
you're
just like spending like 3 or 4 hours on one track.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Happy with that for now.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Maybe go get coffee or a bite. Come back and start something new in the afternoon session. And then
So after a while you have like 4
sketches and go, right, let's go back into that now and sort of refine it. And
how did you find that workflow? That's really interesting.
Yeah, cool. It's cool because I don't normally work like that. It's really good to collaborate with people as well. Yeah, because everybody's got different ways of working, and you'll pick up little techniques that will benefit you and benefit them. Yeah. Just because everybody's got their own little thing, and that's a really good idea and stuff like that. And
how fun is it too? Because it's all of a sudden you got someone saying that sounds good. I like that.
I'm in my head a lot, and you answer to yourself all the time. It's just like, is that good? Is that and it's hard when you answer to yourself. So. I like collaborating as well. It's good fun.
How do you know? How would you just? Firstly, there's going to be a lot of interest on these Scream collaborations. So the first one we can hear will be on Circle Loco.
Yeah, and it's called Track 3.
Track 3.
It's quite funny because he goes, okay, because we were doing quite a few. We didn't really know the names. We were just naming them like that.
Yeah,
and he goes, keep it as Track 3 because then people go, where's Track 1? Where's Track 2? sort of thing. So okay, actually, I quite like that idea. So yeah.
And you've got 10 tracks finished as well?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There might be a few little tweaks here and there, but yeah,
playable.
We've got one biggie, but it's got a sample in it. But hopefully going to get it cleared if that comes out. I mean, he's hammering it at the moment on his things, and it's a bit of a breaky track actually, but it's like a bit of a, I don't know. I think you could do really well if it sees the light of day.
I can't wait to. I really hope it does.
I think it's looking positive. That's what I'm saying.
Let's stay positive. Let's stay grateful. Hey, that's awesome. With the sort of workflow and the different workflow, right? 10 tracks all through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Do you and getting hit up from an Instagram reel?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
So it's working, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, if you're not doing anything, it's not going to work, is it? Even if you just keep doing stuff, right, in the studio, on socials, all these little things, and you never know what's going to happen. Or who it connects to, or what comes next.
Yeah. What is next for? You said you're working again with the vocalist from Switch.
Yeah. We've done another track called Hypnotic. Yeah. That's actually got 3 versions. It's got the original mix, the night mix, and a twisted dub. Yeah.
And when do we know what label has that been signed? Or
we don't know yet. Might even be my label yet. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Yeah, wicked, man. And are you playing that in your sets?
I'm playing. Yeah, it's going down well as well. Yeah.
And how often do you?
It's the most for her as well. Because I challenged her as well. And I said, "Can you do because normally it's only 8 bars I think switched. Can you do an extra verse or an extra sort of 16 bar sort of rap?" She did it, and she said, it's super cool. It's more Mantronic sort of vibes, this one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wicked, man. Wicked. Where to? So you're off to New Zealand.
Yeah.
After this, and then back home.
Back home, yeah.
Yeah. Any big gigs coming up that you want to? Excited about?
I've got a few Ibiza shows coming up, which I'm really looking forward to. COVID Centre, Octan, and Defected at Eden as well.
Wicked.
Some London shows. Yeah.
There was a bit of a talk about, I'm not sure if we can share this, but you're entertaining the idea of going live potentially, or being more experimental with.
Yeah, my agent and management, I really want to look into that. But yeah, we was talking about earlier. It's definitely something to think about, but I'm not confident I'm there yet. I need a good hour of. I see when you see these live acts, say like Bicep or Disclosure, everyone knows all. They've got big hitters, everyone knows them. I haven't got enough of them yet. I'm working to do that. If I get to a stage where I'm going to do that, and that's definitely something to think about, because it just gives you another edge, doesn't it?
I really like the idea too, when you said that you might, for your live stuff, create a different part of you, like the 808.
Version, You'd probably do. I'll probably
keep it a bit different, so it's not.
So it's like a live
track.
version. Yeah. You can also do a live album of it then as well, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Down the line. Yeah.
I think we've got a reel coming up, and a more stripped back, and trying to keep it easy for yourself, and then build from that in your performance.
Yeah.
You've got the confidence, man. You can do this, man. You can do this. You can do it.
Next year, maybe.
You could do it as a streamer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What's your take on the whole streaming concept for DJs? How do you personally find it? Streaming your sets, stream DJing compared to live clubs.
It was essential over the pandemic, wasn't it? I mean, you need serious production. I think it needs to look really slick now. Everything's visual now, isn't it? Visual based. So it needs to be like what's those? Some are really impressive, aren't they? Amazing locations. I like it when there's people there as well. I don't know. I find it a bit boring, which is a DJ standing there and you're watching him. I mean, it needs to be some sort of atmosphere going on, like the boiler rooms, or was it the Circus, as they say it? Circle, yeah. They're quite, you've got the drones going around, and there's just energy and that. I think I think they're good if they're produced well and stuff like that, but I don't know if they're not so much needed now.
Did you do something during the pandemic?
I did a couple, yeah. Not superb, but they was all right.
And how does it feel to be post pandemic? I'm
buzzing. I'm really excited that everything's open. Everything seems like it's open again now, and it seems to be a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm for it.
How do you feel? What are some of the biggest things that you came from the pandemic? Like, what did you learn? Some things? Did you change up some things?
Well, like collaborating with people like Scream, doing those videos. I wouldn't be doing those videos now, because I didn't know how to edit videos. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's all just done in iMovie. I mean, I'm sure there's loads better video editing software. I'm not that advanced in it, but it's got me to understand it. Doing that, it's got me to understand technology better. Like, say if I'm working with an artist, I can literally work with an artist from Chicago, and it'd be seamless, like sharing the screen. There's software called Audio Movers, if you heard of it.
I'm not sure.
You put it on your mix bus and it streams. Like,
really?
Might be it's really like perfect. Yeah.
It's on your mix bus.
Yeah, and then you send them a link.
Yeah.
So when you're playing like the song, you'll hear it in real time.
Yeah.
And it's like 320 kilobytes per second. So it's really good quality. So you can literally produce together, and you can share the screen. You can have like a Skype or a Zoom, whatever, so you can see it. So it's literally been like in the studio.
So each person's got their door open.
Yeah.
Right. And then you set up this audio thing so it can stream at 320.
Yeah.
And then you route that in as an input.
You just click on the link, and it comes through your speakers. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, check it out. It's wicked. Yeah.
And how do you produce together?
Well, obviously, I would be producing, and you'll be like, say, oh yeah, change that or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you can. Is there stuff you can do that? But you both can. It probably is. I don't know, but
there will be soon if there isn't, for sure.
But that Audio Movies is wicked though. If you're especially if there's a few people involved, say like an A&R or you and another artist, a singer, and you want to be in the project, or want to hear it at the same time.
Yeah.
And you could just move things or edit things in real time. It's brilliant.
So turned into a bit of a video editor, got the reels going, 10 tracks with Scream, no biggie.
I wrote music, and just having a bit more time just to think about stuff. And
any kind of revelations, any kind of things that you needed to confront that you weren't sort of approaching? Like,
I mean, it was a bit intimidating first of all, wasn't it? I just thought, I don't really know, to be honest, because it was a weird one for me, because I just had a number one, and things like my gig schedule was really picking up, and it all just went, I was like, it's just like a killer. And I had those big records signed up, ready to go, Less Ordinary and Medicine, and they all got put back because of that sort of thing. So I was a bit like, first of all, what's going on? Then, you settled into it, started making more music, and then, I've come out the other side, and it's
picking. It sounds like it's picking up where it left off, and it sounds like you've got two waves of momentum. You've got the work that you did that started happening before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Then you've got stuff that's happening now.
That was the hardest thing. You had to keep the momentum. You had that big gap of kind of like everything paused.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, oh God, I need to get keep that momentum there. And luckily I have, and keep going.
Are you open to, you mentioned collaboration, and you mentioned singers, and it doesn't matter what level you are, as long as I see something or feel something in the song. Do you have a lot of people approaching you, and are you open to collaborations with the music, or is that sort of a different side?
Not that many people approaching me, no. But you know what, as well, I work with a keys player, which is amazing as well. So I'm okay. Like, I'm not like a genius on the keys. Do you know what I mean? But he was like top notch, and we just said, let's come in and a day. We just jammed out loads of stuff. Like, he played all the keys, and I've got all the MIDI data now, so I can go back into it, read it a bit, and sort of, I was sort of saying what I wanted. What sort of,
That's such a good point. Like, I just
think collaborating with different people, like, because you can't do everything on your own, and it was, if you want like a guitar, get a guitarist in, or if you want like some live percussion, get like just experiment, like it's exciting and fun as well.
It is. I mean, I used to want to try to do everything myself, realizing that it's so hard to do, because you're almost like insulting the people that spend 10 years on one instrument, that are incredible.
Yeah.
And you worship them, because I put musicians and producers on pedestals because of just knowing the sheer time that it takes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that, what would be your advice to a producer that's starting out on how to sort of get some confidence? Where would you tell, if they're writing dance music, if they're writing electronic dance music, where would you tell them to focus? If you had to mentor someone and they're just starting out and they're like, Mav, what is one piece of kit that I should learn first before I look at anything else? Because I find that people tend to want to learn the vocal side, learn to some chords, learn drums, learn sound design all at once, but then not get enough opportunity to get deep into those worlds.
I think to stick to your DAW, whether you use Ableton, Logic, Fruity Loops, a Reason, whatever. Stick to all the stock stuff in it, and maybe just start obviously everyone's inspired when you especially when you're starting out. Go maybe just listen to that track and just study it, listen to the arrangement, what elements are in there, and just try and get to understand how it's all put together. Just try and make those elements your own and build a track around that. Really study a track that you really like connect with. So understanding there's no point, I think, when you're starting out buying all this new stuff, because it's going to sit there looking at it going, that looks cool, or I don't really know what it's doing, or stuff like that. And like this, you can make perfectly good tracks and with all the stock synths and effects you get in these doors now anyway. So
they're getting pretty good.
I think just really get tracks finished first of all, even if they're not that great. Like I said, even if they're like, you wouldn't play them out, whatever, but it's a sense of achievement of finishing a track and just having understanding what elements build that track and how it's arranged and stuff like that. And you just keep getting better and better. And you'll know, right, okay, I'll get this now. Maybe I need to add something to my arsenal, like a little...
Arsenal.
A little bit of hardware or a drum machine or an external sequencer or modular or whatever, Yeah. So, but just start the base, get the basics right first of all. And there's so many things like I didn't have that when I was starting out. There's like YouTube and stuff like that. If you like just type in things, if you see how was that done, there's probably a video on it. Just take some of those things.
Do you find that you're always learning? And if so, how are you going about trying to learn?
Always learning, yeah.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
How do you try to learn with things? Like...
I'll hear something in a track, that's mad. And I go, I'm going to try and sort of suss out how that was done or how it was created.
Literally how the advice you just gave then, you follow it. So you're practicing what you're preaching.
Yeah, but look at you. But I would say don't spend all times looking on tutorials, stuff like that, because you spend all day looking at it and not doing anything. Going back to our thing is just, even if it's half an hour a day, get your hands dirty, just go in there and make some bass lines, even if they're not very good, you've made them, you'll keep doing it and you'll keep understanding more. You'll tweak a parameter and goes, that's what that does, and things like that. And if you're not doing that, you're never going to know, are you? That's the thing. So
what's some of your big artist inspirations? Whose sounds that have deeply influenced you, and also producers that you admire and go, wow?
Yeah, God. And I've always liked Sasha.
Yeah.
For like all this sort of synthy sort of stuff. Chemical Brothers to me just blow my mind, just for sheer sonic power.
Yeah, sonic power.
Yeah, and their drums and
Has anyone got
madness.
A label called Sonic Power? It's a good name for
I've always liked growing up in Prodigy and stuff like that. Kerry Chandler for house, good proper house music. God, there's loads. Yeah.
Wicked, man. Wicked. Well, I think we're going to wrap up because we just hit the 1 hour mark. I just want to really thank you for being on the show. Thank you for your time. Really good to meet you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep those reels coming. We can't wait to hear the 10 tracks. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Nice one, man.
Wicked, my man.
Cheers.